as it would draw unwanted eyes, flowing as it would allow someone to grab me, or restricted as it would impede my ability to fight or flee. I wore my leathers most of the time, even in the oppressive heat of the summer. They were protective and obtrusive. Sure, maybe I admired pretty little things just as much as any other, but I was surrounded by predators. Vanity came second to my survival. Ilana scoffed. I know you love it too, Rat, even if you're too afraid to wear them. Damn shame. Youth is wasted on a young beauty, too. It's a good color on you. Dance around naked in your bedroom with it, for all I care. My brows squawked as I eyed her hoard of colors. Is that what you do with yours? She winked. All that and more, and I don't pretend you don't too. Elana had never been to my room, and yet she knew me well enough to know that I did indeed have a single drawer stuffed with little colorful trinkets that I had collected over the years. Things that were too pointlessly ostentatious to wear in this life, but that perhaps I could dream of wearing in another. No matter how much I tried to explain it to her, Elana didn't understand my caution. She'd made it clear many times over that she was done. Done, she proclaimed with caution. I honestly didn't know how the old bat had survived this long, but I was grateful for it. The humans I had seen in the slums this morning were nothing like me, and the vampires that surrounded me this morning were nothing like me, and the vampires that surrounded me even less so. Only Ilana lingered somewhere in between, just like I did, albeit for very different reasons. I had been raised in this world, but Ilana had joined it for her own violation 10 years ago. As a younger teenager, I had been fascinated by her. I had met few other humans. I didn't realize then that Ilana was even among humans somewhat unique. Ilana touched her neck again. I realized the cloth clenched in her fist wasn't red, or at least it hadn't started that way. I stepped closer and noticed the wound on her throat. Three sets of two. Then the bandage on her wrist, which covered up. Nyaxia knew how many more. My face must have changed because she had another laugh. A big dinner tonight, she said. I was paid well enough for it. Paid to have handsome men suck on my neck all night. My younger self would be thrilled. I couldn't bring myself to even crack a smile. Yes, I had no idea how Ilana had survived this long. Most voluntary human blood vendors, of which there were few, were killed within a year of their work. I knew too well exactly how little self control vampire had when hunger were involved. Some things Ilana and I would never agree on. I wouldn't be around for a while, I said, changing the subject. I just wanted to let you know so you don't worry. Ilana's face went still. Even in the dim light, I saw her pale two shades. That bastard. You're doing it. I didn't want to have this conversation, even though I knew it was coming. You should think about leaving the inner city temporarily, I went on. Going to the districts. I know you hate it, but at least there, fuck that. It's the Kejari, Ilana. It's not safe here for you, for any humans outside the protected district. Protected districts? Those slums. There's a reason why I left that reek of misery, her nose wrinkled. Misery and piss. It's safe, I said. I didn't miss the irony of saying this when I was covered in blood after returning from that place. Bah, safety is overrated. What kind of life is that? You want me to leave when the most exciting event in 2 centuries is about to happen on my doorstep? No, sweetheart, I'm not doing that. I had told myself that I would stay calm, had known that Ilana would probably not listen to me. Still, I couldn't keep the frustration from my voice. You're being foolish. It's only a few months or even a few days. If you were to leave just for the opening, foolish, she spat. Is that him talking? Is that what he calls you whenever he wants you to do any whenever you want to do anything outside his control? I let out a breath through clenched teeth. Yes, Vincent would call me foolish if I was refusing to protect myself for no good reasons, and he'd be right for it too. The human district may be a slum, but at least humans there had a veneer of protection. Here, I didn't know what would happen to Ilana or any human within the inner city once the Kijari began, especially one that had already signed away their blood. I'd heard stories about how humans had been used in these tournaments. I didn't know what was true and what was exaggeration, but they made my stomach turn. Sometimes I wanted to ask Vincent, but I knew he'd think I was concerned for myself. I didn't want him to worry over me any more than he already did. And he didn't quite know exactly how close Ilana and I had gotten over the past few years. These were a lot of things, there were a lot of things Vincent didn't know. Part of myself that didn't line up with his vision of who I was. Just as there were things about me that Ilana would never understand. Still, I didn't know what I would do without either of them. I had no family here. Whoever was in that house with me when Vincent found me had been killed. If any distant relatives remained, they were trapped somewhere I couldn't reach, at least not until I had won the Kachari. But I had Vincent and I had Ilana, and they had become everything that I imagined a family to be, even if neither of them could understand every contradictory part of me. Now, as the possibility of losing Ilana seemed suddenly far too tangible, fear clutched my heart and refused to relinquish it. Ilana, please. My voice was oddly choked. Please just go. Ilana's face softened. She stuffed her cigar into an overflowing ashtray and came close enough that I could count the wrinkles around her eyes. Her leathery hand caressed my cheek. She smelled like smoke and too pungent rose perfume and blood. You're sweet, she said, prickly but sweet, in an acidic sort of way, like a pineapple. Despite myself, the corner of my mouth twisted. A pineapple? What a ridiculous word. Knowing her, she probably made it up. But I'm tired, sweetheart. Tired of being afraid. I left the district because I wanted to see what it was like here. And it had been exactly as much of an adventure as I thought it would be. I'd risk my life here every day to be here. As do you. You don't have to be as stupid about it. It becomes a rebellion not to care. I know you know that as well as I do, even if you stuff the colors into the back of your dresser. She shot a pointed look to my blood-stained cloth. Even if you hide it in the shadows of the district's alleyways. Please, Lana, just for a week, even if it isn't going for a full kajari. Here, I thrust out the scarf. Take this garish thing and give it to me when you come back. And I even promise I'll wear it. She was silent for a long moment, then took the silk and tucked it into her pocket. Fine, I'll leave in the morning. I let out a sigh of relief. But you stubborn rat. Her hands came up to my face, squishing my cheeks. Between them, you be careful. I won't lecture you about what he's making you do. I pulled away from him, her shockingly strong grip. He's not making me do anything. Bah, I'd moved just in time because the scoff was so vicious it sent splecks of spittle flying. I don't want to watch you become one of them. It would be. Her jaw snapped shut and her eyes searched my face, a wave of unnervingly intense emotion buzzing over her expression. It would be fucking boring. I wasn't what It wasn't what she wanted to say, but I knew it. But Ilana and I had that sort of relationship. All the raw honesty, all the unpleasant tenderness, hidden the things we didn't say. As I would not say aloud that I was competing in the Kajari, she would not say aloud that she was scared for me. Still, it startled me to see her on the verge of tears. Only now did I realize that she only had me. I at least had Vincent, but she was alone. My gaze drifted to the clock and I spat a curse. I have to go. I blurted out, retreating to the window. Don't drink yourself to death, you old hag. Don't skewer yourself with that stick up your ass, she retorted, wiping her eyes, all hints of her earlier vulnerability gone. Crazy old bitch, I thought affectionately. I threw open the window and let the steam of summer rain hit my face. I didn't mean to pause. Something heavier sat on the tip of my tongue. Words I'd only said out loud once before to someone who deserved it less. But Ilana had already disappeared back into her bedroom. I swallowed whatever I was going to say and fell back into the night. So, guys, that was chapter one. I think that chapter one basically pulls us into this instantly dark, dangerous world. And our protagonist feels very vulnerable and determined. There's tension from the very start. You can sense the survival is everything. And nothing about this story is going to be easy. So please stay tuned. I'll post chapter 2 as soon as I can. Thank you.